Registration is now open. 2020 for many was spent in isolation, and many of our plans were disrupted. If you want 2021 to be different in your own life and leadership, if you are serious about getting your breakthrough in your finances, health, relationships, faith, and leadership, then join me and other like-minded leaders in the Lead Through Mastermind group. This virtual group will meet for 8 weeks, beginning in January. 8 weeks focus on helping you win. Only 8 spots available so that we can focus on your specific problem that needs to be solved. Imagine a space and a group of leaders that focuses on helping you solve your problem. Help strategize to help you reach your objective. How fast do you think you'll get the results that you're seeking? You don't have to imagine. Join us today. Go to reachinghighernow.com/mastermind and reserve your spot today. Again, reachinghighernow.com/mastermind. My name is Jose Vargas, and I am on a mission to help you create breakthroughs in your personal and professional life so that you can grow and lead your life with excellence. Welcome to the Jose Vargas Show. This podcast was created for leaders to help leaders strategize to create breakthroughs. I am your host, Jose Vargas. Thank you so much for listening to this show. Today's episode, I want to share with you a key strategy on how to get more done and how to do it with less frustration. But first, I want to share with you a story. My phone rang, and it was Will. Of course, I changed the name to protect the person's reputation. Yes, Will. With a knot on my stomach, I felt it coming. Pastor, we have to cancel the event. We're not receiving the toys that was promised to us. What? We can't do that, Will, I said. There is no way that we can contact all these people. School's out on winter break, and these families will be at our door this Thursday morning. I'm sorry, Pastor. My heart was heavy, to say the least. And I didn't know how or what would happen, really. Would there be a riot outside the church? Worse, our names would get a bad rep in the streets. And even worse, a church that promised but couldn't deliver. I could see that written on the front headlines of the morning newspaper. I took a deep breath, said a quick prayer, and, well, I'll get back to the story in a moment. But as you are leading your life forward, you will confront challenges. You already knew that, right? If you haven't already, you've confront challenges. And we will talk about how to overcome challenges in the next episodes. When we start out in a project, say a job or accomplishing a goal or building a relationship, we have passion, right? We're full of passion. We have hope that we're going to overcome and we're going to conquer and we're going to win. And we have confidence because we have talent, we have the ability. But I want to say that without a plan, that passion will turn into frustration. To get the breakthroughs that you want, or what I like to call, to get the lead through life, you have to answer this question. What do you need to do to get there? Now, let's say your goal is to become a better father, or your goal is to lose weight. Maybe your goal is to increase the sales revenue in your business. Maybe your goal is to serve more people in your organization. You have to ask this question. What must I do to get there? Now, if you're trying to get a promotion at work, or if you're growing a side business like I am, or you're repairing relationships, or you're building your relationship with God, you must answer this question. What must I do to get there? Now, you don't arrive at your desired quote unquote destination. And the reason I say quote unquote is because I don't think we really arrive, right? But when we achieve an objective, you don't just achieve your objective by just wanting it. You don't just achieve your objective by just wishing for it or by just praying for it. You must do all those things, but faith without works is dead being alone. So in this step of the lead through method, you have to plan it. And that's what I call plan it. Now, if I'm coaching someone, I often help them create a plan, a roadmap to their objective. Because again, you can have passion, but without a plan, it will soon turn into frustration. And all of us have gotten to places in our lives where we've gotten stuck while pursuing something meaningful in our lives. Whether that is trying to achieve a goal at our jobs, or trying to achieve a personal goal like losing weight or building a relationship. We get stuck. And being stuck in life or in business is simply not knowing what to do next. And I want to break this stigma that leaders sometimes are afraid to ask for help because they somehow think that leaders are not supposed to get stuck. Leaders get stuck. I've been stuck so many times in my life, and I know I will probably be stuck again in the future because there are so many unknowns in life. But creating a detailed plan or a projected plan will help you get unstuck, will help you get to your goals faster, and will help you get there with less frustration. Now, writing this plan is simply asking and answering the question that we started off with. What do you need to do to get there? I say start at the end of a thing and then work backwards at the beginning, right? You start with the end in mind. Now, as you're crafting a plan, that plan can include answers such to these questions. I jot down some of these questions. What do I have to read in order to achieve this goal that I want? What do I need to do in order to achieve this goal that I want? Who do I need on my team? What do I need to teach? What must I learn? What are my strengths and weaknesses? And then once you have all these things, then that's how your plans start to formulate. Now, a plan is the steps that you need to take towards the vision for your life or business, whatever your objective is. And the clearer you know the steps, the more confident you're going to be walking towards it. That's good right there. So, what will you do to get it? What will you do to get it? It points to you. This question points to you. It avoids you from pointing anywhere else for the lack of results that you may be getting in your life or business. And it forces you to dig deep within yourself to figure out, what is it that I need to do in order to get to that next level? Who do I need to connect with? What do I need to read? What attitudes do I need to adopt in my life? Or what attitudes do I need to drop from my life? What behaviors must I change? What things must I do in order to get the desired outcome in my life? And all these things you formulated into this plan that you start creating in order for you to get to your objective. Now, I think we fail to plan for many reasons. Number one, I think we fail to plan because of fear. We're fearful that it might not work out the way we thought it was going to work out. And so we don't want to look foolish, so we just wing it. We don't plan for it. And so what really is driving the lack of planning there is fear. Another reason we fail to plan is because we don't know, right? We don't know. We can't plan for what we don't know. And so sometimes talking about it with a coach or talking about it and really digging deep into what it is that you want and what it is that you must do in order to get it, sometimes it will clarify the steps that you need to take in order to get there. Another reason why we fail to plan is because it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. And we have so many things to do, so many things to take care of, so many steps along the way, especially when you're starting out a ministry or you're starting out an organization or whether you're starting out a business like I'm learning, right? It can be overwhelming because you have to wear all types of hats. It's overwhelming when you first start a family, right? It's overwhelming when you first start a new job. All these things are because there's so many things that you need to learn, so many things that you have to do. And so one of the ways to fight this and fight back against this overwhelming feeling is to really focus on one thing at a time. Focus on what will give you the biggest results first, right? So another reason why we fail to plan is because it takes more work up front. It takes more work up front. It takes more work to plan and to visualize on paper and to see, okay, where am I and where is it that I want to go and what is it that I must do in order to get there. It takes work up front, and a lot of people are not willing to put up the work in order to get there. But I'm telling you, if you put up the work up front, you're going to save yourself time later, because now you're going to know, you're going to have a roadmap on the exact steps that you need to take in every phase and every stage of the way in order to get to your objective, whatever that is for you listening to this, okay? And then the last one is we don't know what we truly want, okay? Actually, this is not the last one. It's almost the last one, but we don't know what we truly want. We're not aware of what we truly want. And so if that's you listening to this, I want you to go back to listen to episode 3 for more on this subject. And I help you clarify on what is it that you truly want. All right. So, and then the last one, okay, this is the last one. The reason that we don't plan is because we assume that we will get to where we want to go to automatically. So there's this assumption that takes place. Somehow we rationalize it in our minds that somehow we're going to get out of debt, that somehow we're going to build healthier relationships with our spouse, that somehow we're just going to magically lose the 30 pounds, that somehow we're going to get to the dream that we want to get to. And the reality is we know, right? We know from the bottom of our hearts that that's not true. And that's why I created this show, because you have to lead your life through if you want to get the breakthroughs that you want to see in your life. And it takes planning. It takes intentionality. That's why when I developed this lead through method, you can't not include the planet stage, because this is the stage where you have to plan in advance the road and the journey that is before you. Okay? And so planning must become a part of your life. Author Vernice Armour said this in her book. She said, breakthroughs goes beyond one accomplishment. It's bigger than reaching a destination and counting the flight. It's a complete integration into daily life and living like a leader. I love that. It's a complete integration into daily life and living like a leader. You have to make planning part of your life. You have to make planning part of your schedule. You have to make it part of who you are as a leader, as someone who wants to lead their lives and not just get by in life. You have to make planning a part of your life. Okay? So, what do you need to do in order to get where you're trying to get to? That's the question that you must answer. And that's the question that I want to bring to the forefront of your mind in this episode. So I want to continue the story I started earlier. It was 5 days before Christmas, literally, and 2 days before our Christmas toy giveaway. And we partnered up with an organization who wanted to serve the community as well, which taught me another lesson in and of itself. But so we were excited. My team and I, we were excited, and we were anticipating over 500 families that each would receive 6 toys. These families were hand selected by our parent liaisons in different schools in the city that we were a part of, and we partnered with them. Families who were most in need during the Christmas season. And we were excited for this event until they canceled on us. They canceled on us 2 days before this Christmas toy giveaway. As you can imagine, how I felt if you've ever planned something and then it was canceled, and then you have all these people depending on you. So I called one of my volunteers and who I had placed to oversee the whole event, and I explained what just happened. And so after hanging up the phone, I wanted to make sure she was okay, and I started driving to her house. And as I drove to her house, I was recalibrating a plan of action in my brain. On my way to her house, I called a friend to explain the situation, and he recommended I call a local organization that might have extra toys. I did, but nothing. It went straight to voicemail. So once I got to Dawn's house, to the volunteer, and she's also my friend, once I got to her house, I decided to call other volunteers who were scheduled to be at the church to help sort out toys that night. We were going to sort them out by age group, and so we had to call each and every one of them to explain the situation. The event is canceled, she told them after explaining to each one with a sad, disappointing voice. And we sketched out on the back of an envelope what I wanted to say to the people on a note that we would hand to each person that Thursday morning on why this event was canceled. But meanwhile, I couldn't help but to keep pressing through. I couldn't help but to keep strategizing and thinking, man, there's got to be a way that we can pull this off. I texted a few friends hoping and praying for a miracle. And some led to leads with possibilities of a few toys, but no guarantees. So early the next morning, me and my friend Dawn, we met at the church. We sketched out a letter thanking people in advance for their generosity. We printed out some copies. Who were they for? Well, we still had no idea. We got a lead from a friend to go check the local Walmart, and so off we went. Somehow, though, as we were driving there, we sensed a peace in the midst of all this chaos. We had joy that was unexplainable. As the Walmart manager approached and he read the letter right in front of us, he made a phone call and he said in a low voice to us, he said, "I'm sorry, but we can only give you $75 in a gift card. Would you like that?" And I said, yeah, we took it, right? And we were grateful. And this was the beginning of the breakthrough that was beginning to unfold for us. Walmart after Walmart, and then Target after Target, and more toys were piling up. Still off from what we needed to make this event a success, but somehow we knew that God had started something and he was determined to finish it. So a few churches gave us money, a few churches gave us toys, and that began to add to our collection. We were excited, but still short, hundreds of toys. And we were a small church. We didn't have the budget to pull this off. We called a few close volunteers to meet us at the church at 6 p.m. that night to start sorting out toys because a miracle was literally taking place. We thought even if we can give each family 1 or 2 toys instead of 6 toys, we would be good. But God had other plans. And that's what I believe. Now, if you're not a person of faith, don't be offended. But I believe that God had other plans. And as we got ready to go one last time to another Walmart, and I want you to check this out. While sitting in the car, I received a call from a partner of our church saying that her sister would like to donate $1,000. I was shocked. This was by far the biggest donation that we've gotten up to this point in this whole ordeal. This is amazing, I thought. God is coming through for us. And so I immediately picked up the phone and I called the person who wanted to be anonymous and they wanted to stay in the loop. And I called them to tell them what was happening. They were a part of one of our leadership team as well. And they've been trying to help us get, more toys into this event. So he said to me, "Hey, I have a few gift cards that I want to give you." I said, "Okay, great. Let's meet at the local Walmart." Now, Walmart is not a sponsor of this podcast, although they definitely should, right? So if anybody listening to this works at Walmart, put in a word for me, all right? Anyways, so before I tell you what happens next, I want you to know that in your planning, okay, as you're planning for your objective, for your goal, for your breakthrough, for whatever it is that you're going after, there's going to come a moment when you've done all you can, okay? I think this is when I believe God shows up. And he often shows up through other people. Let me explain the rest of the story. As this person approached us, as we were walking in the Walmart, I was expecting a few gift cards. But what happened next left me speechless. He pulled out a shopping bag from his coat pocket and he handed me a bag with $4,500 in gift cards. I said, 45 what? He said, $4,500, he said. And here's another $3,000 in cash. As he handed me the stack of money, he said, just in case that's not enough, here's another $3,000. So $4,500 in gift cards, $3,000 in cash. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. I was overwhelmed with so much joy, excitement. And I said, wait a minute, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. I was stuttering. I was just amazed. 7:30 p.m. on Wednesday night. And God provided a way where there was no way. We didn't know how to shop after that, let me just tell you. But we had to hurry because time was running out. In less than 13 hours, people were going to show up to receive their toys. They didn't know what was happening. They didn't know how much we were struggling. And now we got the money, so now we needed to get the toys. 5 a.m. the next day, Dawn and I were shopping for toys. And just a few, and the team was setting up. We had a great team of volunteers. They were setting up inside the church. They had cookies, they had hot chocolate, they had Christmas music, they had decorations. Dawn and I only had a few hours of sleep. But we were so grateful that God had come through for us. And we didn't mind. 8 a.m. and we brought in our last batch of toys before opening the doors. As we peeked outside, people from the community were starting to line up. We prayed for the toys, we prayed for the families that would come in, and non-stop lines from 9 to 12. Just people coming in. We took a break, went back to shopping, came back with more toys. Line still going. As we were shopping this last time, this elderly lady, she said, hey, what's all this for? I said, for a toy giveaway that we're doing for our community today. She smiled, walked away, and shortly after, she came back, and this touched me. She came back and she slipped a $20 bill in my hands. And she said, here's my part in that. Man, that touches me even to this day. And for the rest of that day and night, we watched people come in. Some shared their stories with us. Some just simply smiled and said thank you. Others cried, and as they waited in line, thanking us and saying that this was the only toy that their family member and their child was going to get. What a tremendous event, and one that only I believe God can make happen. But sometimes planning for what you want in your own journey, for your own goals, for your own company, for your own organization, sometimes you have to plan, right? But sometimes when that plan gets turned upside down, you must be willing to adjust, recalibrate, and continue to plan even if the planning is one step at a time. Even if the planning is just the next 2 steps ahead, right? You might not know what the next 10 steps are. You might not even know what the next journey or what the next road will be like. But just plan the next 1 or 2 steps. See, we gave toys to over 200 families that came out that day. We had toys left over, and Christmas for us that year was truly a wonderful one. And I share this story because getting your breakthrough is going to require you to make some changes in your life. I want you to look at what you want, and then I want you to ask yourself, what will you do to get it? And then begin to craft a plan in order to go after it. It's going to require you to live in such a way that you plan for what you do and for what you want in life. Listen, I have a free planner available for you. You can go to reachinghighernow.com/planner. Put your email that you want us to send it to, and we'll send it to you. You can print it out, have it bound at the nearest FedEx kiosk store or Staples, Office Max, whatever. You can use this tool to help you plan your days, your weeks, your months, so that you can move closer to your desired outcome. Again, that's reachinghighernow.com/planner. It's absolutely free. You can download it and print it out if you like. Now, this episode also highlights the fact that when you plan and do everything in your power and all that you know how to do, right? Once you've done all that, I believe that's when God oftentimes comes through for us. Listen, it takes time and it takes work. But together we can become a leader worth following. You don't have to remain stuck. You don't have to put up a front. But you can take actionable, practical steps to get your breakthrough. And not just accept your life, but lead your life towards excellence and towards impact. Because isn't that what we want? We want to have impact in this world, and we want to impact the people in our lives. Thank you for joining me today. Please share this podcast episode with another leader, and I'll see you soon. This podcast is brought to you by Shield Bearers. Shield Bearers is a consulting agency helping churches and religious organizations protect parishioners from active shooter situations. They provide trainings to your team, help create systems, and implement safety measures to protect your house of worship. To follow them on Facebook, they're at Shield Bearers Consulting, or to contact them directly, dial 609-232-2711. 609-232-2711.